Hey, what's up guys? It's Richie from 04 Mach 1 Speed. So I just thought I'd do a quick video review of the FiiO headphone amplifier. I actually didn't even know this thing existed until about a week and a half ago. I was actually listening to my Sony MP3 player, that's what it looks like. I was listening to my Sony MP3 player and I had the volume pretty much all the way up, and you know that feeling when you listen to music, listen to certain songs or a lot of songs, and you can just tell it's not loud enough. I mean, you're sitting there hitting the I do that a lot. I sit there and hit the volume button up many times, even though it's already at the max volume, just because I want it to get louder. But so I went I went online and did a little research. I just typed in headphone amplifier, and everything that popped up was the FiiO. And it seems as though I think FiiO is pretty much the only company that makes these things. There might be a couple of other ones, but this is the only one I've seen. And this is the cheapest one. Like I said, there's like 4 different versions, 4 or 5. There's the E3, the E5, E7, and some other one. I know there's 4 or 5 of them, but this is actually the cheapest one. And I paid like $15 for it, and I think the E5 is like 30, the E7 is 60 or 50. But so after I bought it, whoops, I guess it's still on. After I bought it, I was reading a bunch of customer reviews, and there's a lot of people that were happy with them, but there was some people that weren't happy with them. And one of the biggest complaint that some people were saying is the fact this thing has very high distortion at high volume. Pretty much when you turn this thing up all the way. I haven't got to the highest volume yet. Obviously, before I had this thing, I was turning the volume all the way up to 30 on the max on this Sony Bluetooth MP3 player. But on this thing, it's probably at 19, 20 most of the time, and that's still almost too loud. So this thing definitely works. As far as distortion goes, I haven't heard any distortion. In case you guys didn't know what distortion was on music, that's when you turn the volume up almost all the way or at very high volumes. Oops. At very high volumes, and it sounds like a rattling sound, like a rattling distortion. It's almost like a car stereo in the subwoofer that's got a 200-watt amp and a 1,000-watt subwoofer. That's what it sounds like. But it's distortion sucks. But as far as distortion goes, I haven't heard any distortion on this thing. The sound quality is exactly the same. Might be because I have pretty decent headphones. But distortion-wise, no distortion whatsoever. I haven't heard any, and I've turned the volume almost all the way up on a couple of songs just to see how loud it would be, and there is no distortion. So the only thing I can think of is those people that said something about this thing having high distortion is the fact that they probably put a dead battery in there. Obviously, an amplifier needs full power to work properly, so they probably had a dead battery in there for all I know. I'm not sure. But put a brand new battery in there, and it shouldn't distort whatsoever. It does have 4 out of 5 stars on Amazon.com out of 200-something reviews, so that's pretty damn good. Now, there is no volume control on this thing. Your volume is solely on this thing, of course. I think on the E5 and E7, there is a volume control on the side of this thing and a bass control on the E5. There's also no off button. Once you plug the headphone jack in, see if I can get it focus. There we go. I'm using an iPhone 4S to do this, sorry. But there is no power button. This is the only power light you have, so it turns off once you unplug the headphones. Sorry. Alright, so once you unplug the headphones, the light does turn off, so I think that pretty much means it's off. So just to make sure you can take the battery out if you want to, but as soon as you plug it in, the light comes back on, showing that it's working. So and then it does take one AAA battery. As far as size-wise, it's actually pretty sleek. I actually have a lithium in there right now. That's probably why it's lasting so long. But it does take a AAA battery, and it does last quite a bit of time. So I've been listening to this thing all day long, and sounds pretty amazing. There's no sound quality depletion whatsoever. There's no change in sound quality at all. So, and the funny thing is this thing came with. I was so excited to get this thing in the mail. I just took it out of the package, popped the battery in there, and started playing with it. It's kind of mostly because I was scared that it was going to distort, but it actually never did. And I was so excited, all I did was just take the actual E3 out of the package and plug it in. And I realized I didn't have, I think a whatever the cable is that has both ends right there. But anyways, I didn't think it came with one, so I actually used my desktop computer one. It had this giant long cable coming from the MP3 player and the FiiO. And then I was like, you know what, wait a second, this thing has to come with something. So I opened it back up, and it came with a little bitty one. So it does come with one of these little cables. I forgot what it's called. I guess it's not an audio in. Your audio in is obviously this side, headphone jack. No, that's input. Alright. Anyways, but yeah, so there is no distortion. Personally, if you want a really good cheap headphone amplifier, I'm telling you right now, the E3 is like the perfect one to get. There is no distortion whatsoever. I am giving this thing a 5-star. So probably gonna go to Amazon and rate it for sure. Only time will tell if it lasts. So if it doesn't, I'll just get the E5, which is a little more expensive. So there you go. There's the FiiO E3 headphone amplifier. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, just reach me in the comments and I'll get back to you as fast as I can. Thanks.